Right now, at this very moment, there are people walking among us who were completely broke just 3 months ago. They had the same bills you have, the same pressures, the same seemingly impossible circumstances. Yet today, they write checks without checking balances. They make decisions based on desire, not desperation. What changed? Did they suddenly discover oil in their backyard? Did a rich relative die and leave them everything? Did they win the lottery? No. They simply stopped pretending to be poor. Listen to me very carefully. Every single day of your life, you are performing. You are playing a character. The question is not whether you're acting. The question is which role you've chosen to play. Are you playing the person who says, I can't afford it, before even thinking? The one who checks their bank balance with that familiar knot in their stomach? The one who believes wealthy people are just lucky or different from you? Or are you ready to play the person you actually are, someone who was born to live abundantly? In the invisible realm, where all possibilities exist simultaneously, you are already wealthy. Every version of yourself that could ever be already is. There's a version of you living in your dream home right now. There's a version of you who never worries about money. There's a version of you who tips generously because you can. The question is, which version are you going to choose to become conscious of? You've been taught that wealth comes through grinding, through sacrifice, through proving yourself worthy through exhaustion. This is the grand deception that keeps millions trapped in financial struggle. Wealth comes through assumption. When you assume you are wealthy, not hope, not wish, not try to become, but assume you already are, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your inner conviction. The wealthy person doesn't chase money because they know money chases them. They don't grab at opportunities because they trust opportunities naturally flow toward them. They don't hustle because hustling comes from the assumption of lack. When you hustle, you're literally acting from the belief that what you want is outside of you, that you must capture it, hunt it down, force it to come to you. But wealth cannot be captured through force. It can only be attracted through alignment. Your bank account is not the measure of your wealth. Your inner conviction is. And your inner conviction is completely under your control right now, in this moment, regardless of what any external circumstance seems to be telling you. The universe is constantly offering you wealth in millions of forms. Ideas worth fortunes flow through your mind daily. People who could transform your financial reality cross your path regularly. Opportunities that could change everything present themselves continuously. But if you're vibrating at the frequency of struggle, if you're assuming limitation, if you're feeling poor, you're blind to these gifts. They pass right by you while you wonder why success seems to come so easily to others. The others aren't luckier, they aren't more deserving, they aren't more talented. They're simply operating from a different assumption about what's possible for them. Here's what will shock you. You're not trying to become wealthy. You already are wealthy in the dimension where all things are real before they become visible. Your job isn't to create wealth. It's to select it, tune into it, assume it so completely that it becomes your natural state. When you imagine yourself wealthy, you're not fantasizing about some future possibility. You're connecting with a present reality that exists right now in consciousness. And consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is just consciousness made visible. But you must feel it. Visualization without feeling is just daydreaming. You must embody wealth so completely that it becomes as natural as your heartbeat. The person who truly assumes wealth doesn't think wealthy thoughts occasionally while still feeling poor. They maintain the feeling of wealth consistently. They live in the end result. They dwell in the feeling of having rather than wanting. Your circumstances don't determine your wealth. They reflect what you've been assuming up until this point. The moment you change your assumption, you plant a new seed in consciousness. And that seed must grow. It cannot do otherwise. But you must tend that seed with unwavering faith. You must water it with continued assumption. You must persist in your new identity until it hardens into objective fact. The time it takes is determined by how natural wealth feels to you. If assuming abundance requires effort, if you must convince yourself, it will take longer. But if you can assume wealth as easily as you assume your own name, it will manifest with startling speed. This is why the wealthy get wealthier, not because they work harder, but because wealth feels natural to them. They expect it automatically. They receive it gracefully. And this natural assumption of wealth is available to you right now. You don't wait until you have money to feel wealthy. You feel wealthy first, then receive the money. The feeling is the cause. The money is the effect. Stop trying to get wealth and start being wealthy. The kingdom of abundance is within you, and it's time to claim your throne. Let me tell you about Marcus, a construction worker in Phoenix who was drowning in debt just 8 months ago. Credit cards maxed out, behind on his truck payments, living paycheck to paycheck despite working 60-hour weeks. His girlfriend, Sarah, was working double shifts at a diner, and they were still falling behind every month. Marcus had bought into the story that hard work equals success. So he worked harder. He took weekend jobs. He picked up side projects. Still, the bills kept multiplying faster than the money coming in. Then one evening, sitting in his apartment with the electricity about to be shut off, Marcus made a decision that changed everything. He decided to stop being broke. Not next month, not when he got his next check. Right then, with $23 to his name, Marcus decided he was wealthy. He closed his eyes and began to live in his imagination as a prosperous man. He saw himself paying bills without anxiety. He felt the relief of financial security. He imagined calling his mom to tell her he was buying her the house she'd always dreamed of. Every morning before heading to the construction site, Marcus would spend 15 minutes in his imagination, living as a wealthy man. He would feel the leather seats of his dream truck. He would imagine the weight of his wallet full of cash. He would experience the peace of having multiple income streams flowing to him effortlessly. But here's what made the difference. Marcus didn't just imagine wealth, he began to embody it. When he walked into the hardware store, he no longer moved with the rushed anxiety of someone counting every penny. He moved with the calm confidence of a man who had resources. When the cashier told him the total, he didn't flinch. He paid with the assurance of someone for whom money was no obstacle. He changed his inner dialogue. Instead of "I'm broke," he would say, "I'm being strategic with my resources." Instead of "I can't afford it," he would say, "I choose not to purchase that right now." These weren't just word games. They represented a fundamental shift in identity. Marcus began carrying himself differently. Same work clothes, same job site, but now he stood taller. He spoke with more authority. He made suggestions instead of just following orders. He was embodying prosperity before he could see it. 3 weeks into this practice, something extraordinary happened. The foreman overheard Marcus explaining to a new guy how to solve a complex structural problem. Marcus wasn't just describing the technical solution. He was breaking down the cost-benefit analysis like a project manager. The foreman pulled him aside. "Marcus, how would you like to run your own crew?" Within a month, Marcus was supervising 12 men and earning double his previous wage. But that was just the beginning. Marcus began suggesting process improvements that saved the company thousands. He negotiated with suppliers like someone who understood business, not just labor. 6 months later, Marcus started his own construction company. Not through loans or investors, but because clients began asking him to handle their projects directly. They were drawn to his confidence, his solutions-oriented thinking, his natural leadership. Today, Marcus employs 15 people. He drives the exact truck he was visualizing. Sarah quit the diner and now manages the business finances. They're closing on their dream home next month. But here's the crucial point. None of this happened through traditional hustle. Marcus didn't network his way to success. He didn't have a business plan or startup capital. He didn't work longer hours than he was already working. What Marcus did was change his assumption about who he was. He stopped being the struggling construction worker and started being the successful business owner. He made this change first in imagination, then in feeling, then in action. The opportunities were always there. The skills were always there. The clients were always there. What changed was Marcus's inner conviction about what was possible for him. Or consider Eleanor, a single mother in Miami who was cleaning offices at night while studying nursing during the day. 2 jobs, school, raising her daughter alone. She was exhausted and barely surviving financially. Eleanor discovered something profound. She had been assuming struggle was noble, that sacrifice proved her worth as a mother. But when she shifted to assuming abundance was her natural state, everything changed. She began to imagine herself as a successful nurse practitioner with her own practice. She felt the satisfaction of helping patients while earning excellent money. She visualized her daughter in private school, having every opportunity Eleanor never had. But more importantly, Elena began to act from this assumption immediately. When she walked into her classes, she carried herself like someone destined for success, not someone struggling to get by. When she interacted with instructors and fellow students, she spoke with the confidence of someone who belonged in healthcare leadership. Within months, Eleanor was being recommended for accelerated programs. Scholarships appeared. A professor mentioned her to a colleague who offered her a part-time position at a medical practice at higher pay than both her other jobs combined. Today, Eleanor runs a thriving nurse practitioner clinic. Her daughter attends the private school Eleanor had visualized. But most importantly, Eleanor moves through the world with the unshakable knowing that abundance is her natural state. These aren't exceptional people. They're ordinary individuals who made an extraordinary choice. They chose to assume wealth instead of assuming struggle. They chose to feel abundant instead of feeling limited. They chose to embody prosperity instead of embodying lack. The same invisible principle that transformed Marcus and Elena is operating in your life right now. It doesn't require permission from your circumstances. It doesn't need approval from your bank account. It's waiting for one thing only, for you to assume the wealth that is already yours in the realm of infinite possibility. What I'm about to reveal will shatter every belief you've ever held about how money actually works. You've been taught that wealth is created through external action, through grinding, networking, finding the right opportunity, or being in the right place at the right time. This is completely backwards. Wealth is created through internal assumption. The outer world of money, opportunities, and circumstances is nothing more than the shadow cast by your inner world of beliefs, feelings, and convictions. Every single thing you see in your physical reality was first imagined. Every building around you, every device you use, every system that governs society, all of it existed in someone's imagination before it existed in form. But here's what they don't teach you. Imagination isn't just the beginning of creation. Imagination is creation. When you imagine something vividly, when you feel it as real, when you assume it to be true despite what your senses tell you, you're not hoping it will happen. You're causing it to happen. Imagination is the creative force of existence flowing through you. But most people use their imagination against themselves. They imagine bills they can't pay. They feel the anxiety of not having enough. They assume money is scarce and hard to come by. And their outer world reflects these inner assumptions with mathematical precision. The person who constantly worries about money will always have something to worry about financially. The person who assumes they're unlucky with money will continue experiencing financial setbacks. The person who believes wealth is for others but not for them will remain outside the circle of abundance. This isn't punishment. This is natural law. The universe doesn't judge your assumptions. It simply mirrors them back to you with perfect accuracy. Now, here's the key that unlocks everything. You can change your assumption at any moment. You don't need permission from your bank balance. You don't need approval from your circumstances. You don't need validation from anyone outside yourself. Your assumption is your domain. It's the one thing completely under your control. And when you learn to assume wealth as naturally as you assume you have a name, wealth becomes as natural and inevitable as breathing. But what does it actually mean to assume wealth? It means to feel wealthy now, regardless of current appearances. It means to think as wealth thinks, to move as wealth moves, to speak as wealth speaks. The wealthy person doesn't chase money because they know money flows toward them. They don't grasp at opportunities because they trust opportunities naturally gravitate toward their energy. They don't worry about the future because they know their inner state is creating their future in every moment. This is why the hustle mentality keeps you trapped in financial struggle. When you hustle, you're operating from the assumption of lack. You're acting as if what you want is outside you, as if you must hunt it down and capture it through effort. But wealth cannot be captured through force. It can only be attracted through alignment. When you align your inner state with abundance, when you assume prosperity as your natural condition, you become magnetic to money, not through struggle, but through ease, not through desperation, but through confidence. The universe is constantly offering you wealth in countless forms. $1,000,000 ideas flow through your consciousness daily. People who could transform your financial future walk past you regularly. Opportunities that could change everything present themselves continuously. But if you're vibrating at the frequency of lack, if you're assuming struggle, if you're feeling poor, these gifts are invisible to you. They pass right by while you wonder why abundance seems to come so easily to others. Here's what you must understand. You're not trying to become wealthy. You already are wealthy in the infinite realm of possibility. Every version of yourself that could ever exist already exists. There's a version of you with unlimited resources right now. Your job isn't to create this wealthy version of yourself. Your job is to select it, tune into it, assume it, become it in consciousness. When you do, physical reality reorganizes itself to match your inner selection. This is why visualization works. Not because you're creating something new, but because you're connecting with something that already exists. When you imagine yourself wealthy, you're not fantasizing about a future possibility. You're aligning with a present reality in the dimension of consciousness. But visualization alone isn't enough. You must feel the wealth. You must embody it. You must assume it so completely that it becomes your natural state of being. The person who truly assumes wealth doesn't think wealthy thoughts occasionally while still feeling poor. They maintain the feeling of wealth consistently. They live in the fulfilled state. They dwell in the experience of having rather than wanting. This is the discipline, not the discipline of working harder, but the discipline of assuming consistently. Not the discipline of sacrificing more, but the discipline of feeling wealthy regardless of what your senses report. Your senses will lie to you. Your bank account may show a small number. Your bills may seem overwhelming. Your circumstances may appear limiting. But none of these things determine your wealth. They're simply reflecting what you've been assuming up until this point. The moment you change your assumption, you plant a new seed in the fertile soil of consciousness. That seed must grow. It must manifest. It cannot do otherwise because this is how reality operates. But you must tend the seed with unwavering faith. You must water it with continued assumption. You must protect it from the weeds of doubt and fear. You must persist in your new assumption until it crystallizes into objective fact. The time it takes for your assumption to manifest depends on how natural it feels to you. If assuming wealth feels foreign, if it requires effort, if you must convince yourself, it will take longer to appear. But if you can assume wealth as easily as you assume your own existence, it will manifest with remarkable speed. This is why the wealthy get wealthier. It's not because they work harder than everyone else. It's because wealth feels natural to them. They assume it effortlessly. They expect it automatically. They receive it gracefully. And this natural assumption of wealth is available to you right now. You don't wait until you have money to feel wealthy. You feel wealthy first, then receive the money. The feeling comes first. The feeling is the cause. The money is the effect. Most people have this sequence backwards. They think they'll feel wealthy when they have more money. But the universe operates in the opposite direction. You must feel wealthy to attract more money. You must assume abundance to experience abundance. You must be wealthy in consciousness to be wealthy in manifestation. This is the secret the wealthy know and the struggling don't. This is the invisible law that governs all financial success. This is the key that unlocks every door, the password that opens every vault. Your outer world is always trying to pull you back into old assumptions. Bills arrive. Unexpected expenses appear. Financial challenges seem to intensify. Don't interpret these as signs that your new assumption isn't working. These are simply the final expressions of your old assumption clearing themselves from your experience. They're like the last drops of dirty water coming out of a pipe after you've turned on clean water. They don't represent your new reality. They represent your old reality, leaving. When these final expressions of lack appear, meet them with the calm assurance of someone who knows better. Handle what you must handle with confidence. Don't let temporary circumstances shake your eternal assumption. The wealthy person doesn't panic when facing financial challenges because they know these challenges are temporary. They know their wealth isn't dependent on current circumstances, but on inner conviction. Stop trying to get wealth and start being wealthy. Stop chasing money and start attracting it. Stop earning abundance and start assuming abundance. The kingdom of wealth is within you, and it's time to claim your inheritance. Now comes the moment everything changes. Everything you've heard has been preparation for what we're about to do together. You're going to stop being poor and start being wealthy. Not someday, not when conditions improve. Right now, in this moment. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. With each exhale, you're releasing the old version of yourself, the one who worried about money, who felt limited by circumstances, who believed abundance was for others. Let that identity dissolve completely. As you breathe in, you're drawing in your new reality. You're breathing in prosperity. You're breathing in the truth of who you actually are, a wealthy being who has been temporarily dreaming of limitation. Imagine you're waking up in your ideal home. Feel the quality of everything around you, the sheets, the mattress, the room itself. This isn't fantasy. This is you connecting with a reality that already exists in consciousness. You reach for your phone and see notifications that excite you. Your investment account has grown overnight. Your business generated revenue while you slept. A client has sent payment for work you love doing. As you get up, feel your feet on the floors of your dream home. Whatever the surface, marble, hardwood, heated tile, feel the quality beneath your feet. This is your home. You belong here. You own this. Walk to your bathroom and look in the mirror. See yourself as the wealthy person you are. Notice your posture, shoulders back, chin up, eyes confident. This is what financial freedom looks like in human form. Get dressed in clothes that make you feel abundant. These don't have to be expensive, but they make you feel like the prosperous person you are. Feel how you move differently in them. Go to your kitchen and prepare your morning beverage using quality equipment. As it brews, look out at your view. What do you see? A garden, a skyline, mountains? Make it vivid in your imagination. Check your main bank account. The number still amazes you, not because you can't believe it, but because you remember when you used to worry about money. Now, financial security is simply a fact of your existence. A friend texts asking if you want to join them for lunch at that expensive place you both used to only dream about. You immediately say yes because price is no longer a factor in your decisions. You choose based on desire, not limitation. Feel the peace that comes with this financial freedom. Notice how relaxed your body is when money isn't a concern. Your jaw is unclenched. Your shoulders carry no weight of stress. Your breathing is deep and easy. Now experience the joy of generous giving. Imagine writing a check to eliminate your parents' financial worries. Feel the happiness of being able to do this. Feel the love expressed through this gift. Visualize surprising your siblings or children with something they've always wanted but couldn't afford. Feel their excitement. Feel your own joy at being able to provide freely. This is wealth, not just having money, but sharing it generously. Picture someone asking about your transformation. I remember when you were struggling. How did you turn it around? Feel yourself smiling as you respond, I stopped acting poor and started acting wealthy. I changed my inner world before my outer world changed. Notice how calm and confident you are sharing this. You're not boastful, you're simply sharing truth with the quiet assurance of someone who has lived it. Now imagine receiving a call from your bank's private wealth division. They want to discuss investment opportunities. This isn't a dream, this is your reality now. Feel yourself walking into that meeting with complete confidence. You belong here. These advisors work with people like you, wealthy individuals who have resources to grow. They present investment opportunities requiring significant capital, amounts that would have terrified the old you. But now these numbers feel appropriate. You have the resources, and you make decisions from wisdom, not fear. Feel the satisfaction of signing documents that will grow your wealth further. Feel the security of knowing your financial future isn't just stable, it's expansive. Now imagine a typical day in your wealthy life. You wake naturally without an alarm because you're not enslaved to someone else's schedule. You have the freedom to structure your day according to your desires. Your phone rings with an opportunity. Someone wants to partner with you, invest in your project, hire your expertise. But here's what's beautiful. You can say yes or no based purely on whether it interests you. Money is no longer the determining factor. You say yes to this opportunity not because you need the money, but because it excites you. You negotiate from strength because you're not desperate. This is what abundance feels like, having real choices. Feel the energy of your body in this state. Notice how different you feel when you're not carrying financial worry. Your entire nervous system is relaxed. Your mind is clear. Your heart is open. Now bring this feeling into your current reality. Open your eyes and look around. The room may look the same, but you are completely different. You have connected with the feeling of wealth, and that feeling is now part of you. Carry this feeling with you as you move through your day. When you walk, walk as the wealthy person you are. When you speak, speak with the confidence of someone who has financial security. When you make decisions, make them from abundance, not scarcity. This isn't pretending. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is recognizing a truth that already exists in the realm of infinite possibility. You are wealthy. You have always been wealthy. You're simply choosing to align with that reality now. Make this feeling so natural that anything less than abundance feels foreign. Let wealth become your default state. Let prosperity be your normal experience. Let abundance be as automatic as breathing. You're not trying to become wealthy. You're recognizing the wealth you already are. You're not creating abundance from nothing. You're aligning with the abundance that has always been yours. The feeling is everything. Without feeling, imagination is sterile. Without feeling, assumption is just intellectual exercise. The feeling is what breathes life into your assumption and makes it real in your experience. You must feel wealthy now, not when your bank account grows, not when opportunities manifest, not when others acknowledge your success. Now, in this moment, with every fiber of your being. This is not a temporary feeling you visit occasionally. This is your new baseline. This is how you feel when you wake up. This is how you feel when you sleep. This is how you feel as you move through every moment of your wealthy life. Feel the confidence flowing through you when you know you're financially secure. Feel how your spine straightens, how your shoulders relax, how your chin lifts naturally. This is what wealth looks like in human form. Not arrogance, but unshakable confidence. Feel the generosity bubbling up from within. When you truly feel wealthy, you want to share that wealth. You want to tip well. You want to help others. You want to contribute to causes you believe in. This desire to give is proof your feeling of wealth is authentic. Feel the peace that comes with knowing you're taken care of. Financial security isn't just about having money, it's about feeling held by life itself. It's about trusting that abundance is your natural state. Amplify this feeling. Let it grow stronger and more vivid. If it feels warm, let it get warmer. If it feels expansive, let it expand further. Don't hold back. Let yourself feel as wealthy as you truly are in the realm of infinite possibility. This feeling doesn't depend on anything external. It's not waiting for permission from your circumstances. It's not asking for approval from your bank account. This feeling is your birthright, and you're claiming it now. Let this feeling flow through every cell of your body. Let it radiate from your skin. Let it shine through your eyes. Let it resonate in your voice. Become the embodiment of wealth in this moment. Make a commitment to this feeling. Promise yourself you'll return to this state every morning when you wake up. Promise yourself you'll cultivate this feeling every evening before sleep. Promise yourself that whenever scarcity tries to creep back in, you'll immediately return to this wealthy feeling. This is your practice now. Not meditation on emptiness, but meditation on abundance. Not contemplation of lack, but contemplation of plenty. Not prayer for wealth, but prayer from wealth. Feel how natural this wealthy state is becoming. Feel how right it feels to be abundant. Feel how this is simply who you are when all conditioning is stripped away. You're not trying to become someone you're not. You're remembering who you've always been. In 6 months, you'll look back at this moment as the turning point of your entire financial life, not because of what you'll do in those months, but because of who you'll be in those months. Your outer world will transform because your inner world has transformed. Opportunities will flow because you'll be vibrating at the frequency that attracts them. Money will come because you'll be emanating the consciousness that magnetizes it. The wealth isn't coming to you. You're going to the wealth that has always been there. You're not creating something new. You're uncovering something eternal. You're not becoming worthy of abundance. You're recognizing you've always been worthy. This is divine law, not opinion or theory. This is the immutable principle governing all manifestation. Consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is consciousness made visible. Change your consciousness and you change your world. You're not waiting on the economy to improve. You're not waiting on the right opportunity. You're not waiting on luck. You are the economy. You are the opportunity. You are the luck. In the coming weeks, you'll notice changes. They may be subtle at first, a shift in how people respond to you, an unexpected email, a conversation leading somewhere surprising. These aren't coincidences. They're the first fruits of your new assumption, hardening into fact. Trust the invisible bridge of incidents that will lead you from where you are to where you're going. Your job isn't to understand the process. Your job is to maintain the assumption. Make wealth feel as natural as breathing. Make abundance feel as normal as your heartbeat. Make prosperity feel as automatic as blinking. The more natural your wealthy consciousness becomes, the more quickly it will externalize. You are not the same person who began this journey. That person was limited by beliefs about money, constrained by conditioning about wealth, trapped by assumptions about possibility. But you, the you that exists right now, you know better. You know wealth is consciousness. You know abundance is your birthright. You know assuming prosperity is divine law in action. Take this knowing into every day ahead. Let it guide your choices, inform your decisions, influence your actions. Let it change how you walk, talk, think, and feel. You are wealthy. You have always been wealthy. You are abundance itself, expressing in human form. It is finished. Go and be what you are. But this teaching is not complete with one listening. The seed has been planted, but it must be watered repeatedly to grow into full manifestation. You must return to these truths again and again until they become so deeply embedded in your consciousness that you could not think any other way if you tried. This seed dies without water. One listening changes nothing. Repetition births everything. You touched wealth today, but touching isn't dwelling. You felt abundance, but feeling isn't being. You glimpsed your wealthy self, but glimpsing isn't becoming. Return tomorrow. Return next week. Return until assuming wealth requires zero effort. Return until lack feels foreign. Return until being wealthy feels as natural as breathing. Your old self fades slowly. Your new self births through repetition. Don't intellectualize this. Don't occasionally feel this. Be this in every cell, every moment, every breath. This is the path from poverty to prosperity. It's not traveled once. It's walked daily until it becomes the only reality you know. Will you return tomorrow? Will you persist until assumption hardens into fact? Will you stay loyal to your wealthy self until the world has no choice but to acknowledge what you've always known? Stop waiting. Stop becoming. Stop trying to attract. You are wealthy. You are abundant. You are prosperity. It is finished. Go and be what you are. Let this echo until assumption becomes breathing, until wealth becomes identity, until abundance becomes as automatic as existence itself.